5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Strap in.
You're listening to the God Stories Radio podcast. www.godstoriesradio.com.
Welcome to session 67. I'm Fritz.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Trish.
Wow, what a week. I tell you, it's nice to get back, Mikey.
I know, it's been actually 2 weeks, Fritz.
Is it 2 weeks?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Wow.
We were ready to do last week, and Aubrey had a situation that you had to rush her to the hospital.
In which she is out now. She got out this morning. She had a bad bout with pneumonia on the right lung.
On the side that she had the transplants.
Yeah. And, it's a tricky situation because then they've got to lower her anti-rejection medication and then give her antibiotics. So it's kind of a tricky situation. So we spent a week over there at South Lake, but it was a pretty quick week.
Mm-hmm. How was the couch?
They just don't make a pull-out couch for a 6'7" guy. They don't think about us.
No.
6'7" and sleeping on a hospital sofa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I saw it.
Wow.
That's why I just brought it up.
So, Mikey, how's your week been?
Riding the wave. Just continually going to the Father for things that I believe that He has promised, and hoping to start to see something happen. So I'm riding the wave.
Trish, what's going on over there?
Just loving life, getting ready for Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year. Speaking of which, you can get your Christmas shopping done. Tell them, Fritz.
That's right, at GodStoriesRadio.com/store. You can look no further for your Christmas giving. We have coffee mugs. We have workout shirts.
Trisha Bears.
Yes.
Everybody needs one.
So I'm committing to buy a coffee mug. I think they're $20, and we get a small portion here at God Stories Radio, and you get a very nice, distinguished coffee mug.
Mm-hmm.
God Stories Radio coffee mug.
That's right, God Stories Radio coffee mug. So shop away.
Shop. Oh, and you know what else? I wanted to tell the listeners, too, that we've been looking at becoming a 501c3. And I found someone that it looks like they're going to do it for $300. So that's what I'm hoping and praying to get. Hopefully someone will hit the donate button. It's almost the end of the year. People need it as a tax write-off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Can I give some shout-outs?
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say that we're now in 41 countries, and I wanted to give a shout-out to France, to Japan, and Germany. And then on Facebook, we have Wendell Portillo, is how I'm going to pronounce it, and Giovanna Paccio. So they're very close. I think we have 2 Italians liking us on Facebook.
All right.
We like you, so thanks for liking us.
So, Trish, why don't you introduce our guest?
Yeah, thanks, Fritz. Yeah, I have a friend here that I've just met for the first time in person. We're friends on Facebook. So she actually is a good friend, or was a good friend, of my late mother-in-law, Bobby Goulstone, who was a cancer survivor. She's gone to be with the Father now. With that, I'll give you Jill Towers.
Hi, and thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for coming,
Yes,
Jill.
thank you.
Nice to have you.
Thank you, Jill.
Thank you. Well, I'm from South Jersey. I was born in Tuckerton, New Jersey, to a boat builder.
Is that close to the Amboys?
Nope, a little further south.
Oh, okay.
The Dukes were up where I was born, but
Had some family in Marlboro.
oh yeah, I'm familiar with the name, but not the area. Anyway, my mom was a backup singer for the Tommy Dorsey Band when she got out of high school, and music has been in my family since then, I guess, or before that time, I don't know. But anyway, she was the stage mom, put me on stage as a kid, dancing and singing and leading. At 2 years old, I led the Pledge of Allegiance in one of her variety shows in the local, school that she used to do every year. And my brother was dancing and, and all that stuff. And I had 2 brothers and my sister and myself, so there were 4 of us. And like I said, my dad was a boat builder, and he and his father had a little small boat company in town, and they made boats called Garveys, and they were actually like clam boats. Where I lived was right on the water, and they had a lot of clammers in the area, so they knew that they needed this type of boat, so they made one of the first ones, and they're called Garveys, so they're only in South Jersey or the Jersey area. So that was kind of neat. A lot of things happened in a small town. You think small towns are awesome and all that stuff, and they are, but there's a lot of things that can happen in anywhere, I guess, I had some bad experiences there, and I lost my brother in a car accident when I was 8 years old, and he was just 23. He was the oldest, and he was home on a weekend from Temple University, and drunk driver. So anyway, I had an up and down life. I played in bands. Came on the road in 1978 with a band called Warlord, playing hard rock and roll, and lived in that bus for almost 7 years.
Wow.
And toured up and down the East Coast and wherever they'd have us. Had an agent and, the whole 9 yards. And I had gotten married. My mom passed away of lung cancer and brain cancer, and when I was 17, so my whole life just went kind of crazy, and I just took off, and looked for love in all the wrong places, and that good old country song. Got married to a local boy in town, and had a baby at 19, and of course that didn't work out. So she was on the road with me, living in that bus, and it was quite an experience, to say the least. I probably saw way more than I ever thought I would, or even I ever wanted to, But so then in 83 or something, I was doing a show, and I met this new manager who was interested in taking me on as one of his clients, and he put me up for an audition for a local band, and I got the job, and long story short, we ended up getting married. So I married my manager. Typical
that
story.
Never happens.
Never. And we had a daughter in 85. And this next May, we'll be married 30 years. So that in itself is
work.
Pretty cool.
That is fantastic.
That doesn't happen.
Right. See, I had to follow it up with something like that. Anyway, he's the most kind and patient man that God could have ever sent me. Then, in 92, I had breast cancer. And, of course, I had the rare form that mirror images itself into the other side, whether you have it there or not, over time. And there wasn't any money for that particular, since it was so rare. They had money for ductal kind of other cancer, to research and things. But I was convinced to have double mastectomy, and that's what worked for me. That's why I'm still here. So I joined the local church there, and where I was living on the east side of town, and had my surgery, and was working in the office at the church during all that stuff. I wouldn't even have the surgery until the pastor came, and he actually walked me down on the gurney with holding my hand, he and my husband. So we were really close, and when I got out of the hospital, and we lost our house because of all the medical bills and this and that. Was our first house together, and had a little kid, 2 little kids at that time, and we moved in with my in-laws, my mother-in-law, about, I guess it was only like 30 miles away from where we lived. But at that point, the church never called, not to even see how I was doing. After I'd gone there, and so I had a really deep church wound, if you might call it that.
We get them.
Yep. And, again, there is something else that kind of, you try to get back, and then something like that just goes. But I guess I wasn't ready for it at the time either, The Lord has given me so many opportunities. And I just guess you just must be ready. And, everybody's different. So we had the oldest daughter, and my kids are 11 years apart. So she quit school and wouldn't, rebellious and all that stuff. And she went out on her own at 18 and just was, she kind of like, I guess she lived the life like I was kind of living, She kind of followed my footsteps and made me feel kind of bad about that. But, when you're young, you do things that you don't realize you're being a bad example or the repercussions that come, Anyway, you get older, you get wiser. Hopefully, that's the ticket, right? She got in a lot of trouble, and she wore out her welcome everywhere in this area. And she went to her biological father in Texas, where she picked up the same habits and same type friends and things like that, and it continued there. And over the time, she went ahead and she had gotten into rehab. She's an addict. Her main thing was drinking, and drinking led to anything else at that point, So she found some guy, and she got pregnant, had a little boy, and he was born in June of 2006. At that same time, I had a total hysterectomy, and I couldn't go to be with her in Texas to have the child, which is my first grandchild. I thought it would be awesome, But at the time, my 81-year-old mother-in-law flew out there to be with her, so she wouldn't be alone. And the father was in jail, so he never did get to see. From there, my daughter couldn't make it out there. She was having no place to live, and just everyday stuff, when you're not together, you don't have it together. And she wasn't a believer. I said, well, if you come back to Florida, I have a little studio apartment. You can stay there, and you kind of have to give her, time frames and things like that. You can't just hand things. You have to earn these things. And so,
set the rules.
Yeah.
Set the pace.
People take advantage, and you just know that that's what you have to do. And it's the healthy way to do it anyway, I think, So she ended up going out and staying, got her all the way there, which was an ordeal in itself. We got her to our house, and she brings the baby in, and he's all, he was a different-looking kid. And they come in, and she had gotten a job. I told her if she was working, she could stay there, pay just a little bit of money, and I would do daycare so she wouldn't have to take the child to daycare. And she didn't make it 2 weeks before she came. A phone call came at 5 o'clock in the morning and said that she was in jail, and she thought that if she told a lie to the police officer that she would be able to get the baby. Well, she was drunk, and she left him in the car seat in the back of her car in a diaper with the car was running, but the heater wasn't even on, and we were scared because she had holes all through the bottom of the floor where the exhaust was coming back through, and he was in there for 2 hours. And anyway, we found out where the child was, and we went and got him. We were foster parents for 2 years of our own grandson, and we had to go through, before they would let me bring him home, they came home with me. They checked our dogs. They checked under the beds. They checked the refrigerator. I mean, I'm really glad they did that, but, you're
It's
going
hard to
through
go under a microscope like that.
and you're going through so much. It's your grandson, and you already have all this other stuff going on with your own daughter that, it's just...
It's hard.
I mean, really, and now that I look back on it, I'm really glad that they have that procedure, because it's the safest way, but... 2 years after that, we got legal adoption. So he's ours. He's 8 years old now, and he's awesome, and he loves the Lord. And this happened right after that. My sister and my brother and my father all